Hey guys, it's Michelle, high performance coach at Mish. In this video, I want to talk to you about 6 traits that you need to be looking for, or 6 traits that's worth developing in your people when you're building your dream team. Now, before we jump right into it, let's first understand, right? In life, we get judged based on many things, from the car we use, from the clothes we wear, to the restaurant we go to the friends we hang out with, to the person we decide to go on a date, and the person we decide to marry. But in the world of business, you're only going to judge based on your ability and skills to attract the right kind of people in your tribe, right kind of people for your business. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of industry you are in. You might be in sales, you might be in marketing, you might be in service industry, you might be in real estate, pharmaceutical, or tourism, or in restaurant business. The moment you understand that you are not in the business of the products and services that you obsessively market and promote, but instead you are in the business of people, it is going to put your business on the path of massive acceleration. You might be investing millions of dollars getting the right technology for your business, or you might be investing millions of dollars in research and development, but until you have the right kind of people, right kind of talent behind that machinery, you are not going to get the best ROI, best return on your investment. Right? You have to put your product in the hands of people who are capable, who are skilled, who has got the right kind of mentality, person who has the winning mentality, right? Whenever you are building your winning team, not every person you're going to hire is going to work out. Sometimes people you had most amount of expectation, you just, while you are hiring that, you thought that that person is going to change your life, change your business, that's going to put you at the pedestal. But sometimes they're not going to work out. Either they are going to quit or you're going to fire them. But sometimes people you had least amount of expectation because that person did not have a lot of experience when you hired them, but that person becomes your highest producer. So this happens all the time, right? So look, understand 6 traits that you need to be looking for, or 6 traits that's worth developing in your people when you are building your dream team. Number 1 is responders versus initiators. Now, everyone is a responder. I am a responder. You are a responder. Some of the wealthiest people on the planet Earth are responders. Some of the most powerful people on this planet Earth are responders. Something happens in the stock market, you are going to respond. Something happens in the world, you are going to respond. You receive an email in the morning from one of your clients that if we do not step up our game, they're probably going to go with our competitors. We are going to react. You call in a meeting, in a performance review meeting, and you tell a couple of guys that if they do not produce by this day, then you are going to have to let them go. Then they are going to respond either of the 2 ways. Either they're gonna start looking for a different job, or they're really gonna step up their game, right? Everyone responds, but only few are initiators. You want to hire initiators. And let me give you another example. Let's say that you call in a meeting and everyone from different departments are sitting in that meeting. Okay, people from marketing, advertising, consulting, manufacturing, everyone in the meeting, and you basically start the meeting saying that the way we did the business over the last 20 years was really good. We got some really good results and we achieved some really awesome numbers, but the way the world is going, if we're not going to pivot, if we're not going to innovate, and we're not going to change our marketing or branding strategy, we are going to be obsolete in the next 24 months, right? So now we're gonna do a lot of things online. We're gonna have to learn how to do the digital marketing. Now, some of the people who are really attached with old way of doing things, they're gonna panic. They're not gonna like that idea, right? But some of the people in the meeting gonna say, okay, they haven't done digital marketing before. They don't know anything about branding, but there's some real fact that if we don't change a strategy, and if we do not exist online, then we are going to be obsolete, right? They're gonna accept that fact and they're gonna get into the lab. Okay, so when you see them the next time, they're gonna come up with 50 ideas and 50 strategies and tactics they can pivot. This is what you really want to hire. People who adapt fast, people who are initiators. Number 2 is stamina and endurance. Now, people want to do business, or people want to work with people who's got endurance and stamina. So there are 2 kind of people in your company. Number 1 are employees. Number 2 are actually leaders. For employees, the day is revolved around what it says in the contract. If you start work at 9 o'clock, they're not going to show up before 9 o'clock. And if the contract says that you finish work at 7 o'clock, they're not going to stay a minute longer after 7 o'clock. It doesn't matter how many things they still gotta achieve and how many things they still gotta get it done before the day ends. The other people wrap their ego around the results. They are result-oriented people. They are strictly driven by results. It doesn't matter how many hours they're gonna have to put in. They just focus on getting the job done. Right? They don't mind. We don't have to put it on the contract that sometimes they're gonna have to stay a little bit longer. They don't mind staying in the office 16 hours a day, 6 or 7 times a week for next 6 months. They are extremely focused and driven by getting the job done. You don't have to put it on the contract, right? You don't have to micromanage them. They take personal ownership of the results they need to produce. You want to hire people like that, right? People who's got stamina, people who got endurance. Let me give you a personal example. When I started my business, there are so many aspects of my business I did not understand. One of the things that I really had to figure out is to speak in front of the camera. And sometimes I would go 20 takes before I'm really confident in front of the camera. Sometimes I had to keep shooting until 2 or 3 in the morning. By 12 o'clock midnight, I'm spent, I'm exhausted. There's no energy left in my body, but I would still keep going, right? So sometimes in business, you're gonna have to put in more work than you are contracted to. You want to work with people who's got stamina and endurance. Number 3 is language. Language is really important. I don't know if it is number 3 or number 4, but again, yeah, language is really, really important. You want to pay attention to vocabulary of your people. Let's say that you're hiring people in the middle management or the top level, and that person is responsible for other people's performance. You want to pay a lot of attention to the kind of language and the vocabulary that person is using, because other people are going to feed off his energy. Right? If that person believes that they really can achieve something, that becomes a belief system of the people in his team. So just off the cuff, the kind of language that person is using, because if you're gonna put wrong person in the position, it's gonna ruin the entire culture of your business. Now, the next one is being able to take the constructive criticism. This one again is big. If I feel like that every time I have to give you a feedback, I feel like that I'm walking on the eggshell. I always have to be care about your feelings, that we cannot do business together for a really long time. In the world of business, people do not have a lot of time, energy, and emotional tolerance to be looking after your feelings all the time. If you're way too sensitive, then you're not coachable. I cannot give you constructive criticism and feedback. And if I cannot give you the constructive feedback and the criticism, we cannot progress. We cannot achieve great things together. Now, if you can take the criticism, then you'll be okay giving the feedback. I'm not talking about the complaining. I'm talking about that you want to give constructive feedback to the top management because you really want the company to move forward, right? So that's the big one. The next one is attitude. Now, attitude, again, supremely important. Attitude is more important than the intelligence. Attitude is just your personal belief what's really possible. Right? It doesn't matter what kind of experiences you have. It doesn't matter how many skills that you have. You always have a person's belief in yourself that you'll figure things out. You might be completely new to the world of digital marketing, right? You may be really scared to speak in front of the camera, but you just have a personal belief that with the practice and repetition, you're gonna acquire that skill over the period of time, right? Again, if you, in the world of business, things are hard, so you cannot achieve something really big with negative mindset. You cannot achieve something positive with a negative mindset. So attitude is really important, and you want to make sure that you are recruiting people with the right psychology and mindset. And last but not the least is character. Let's say that you hire someone and who's got all those behavioral skills we just spoke about, but if that person might have 50,000 years of combined experience, right? He might have worked for some of the biggest companies in the world, but if that person doesn't have the character, then that person is going to jeopardize your chances in the marketplace. There are so many companies with the legacy of 50 years, 100 years spiral into the oblivion because of the character flaws of people sitting at the top. Now, when I say about the character, I'm not talking about that you go to the church and the temple 5 times a week, right? I'm talking about that you are holding yourself accountable for the jobs that you have to do. What do you think about your health? What do you think about how do you see your finances? How do you think about your finances, right? If I pass on to some sensitive information, and if I tell you that you cannot tell this information, you cannot give this information to anyone, you're not even going to tell your spouse or kids, even though you know that your spouse got nothing to do with the business and she's not going to give it to anyone else, but just because it is a confidential information, that's not going to go outside 4 walls, right? You might have a lot of experience. You might hire someone with a lot of experience, but if that person doesn't have the authenticity, if that person doesn't have a sound character, you are basically dead in the water, right? So these are the 6 traits that's worth developing when you're building your dream team.